After transferring your picture to your linoleum block and outlining it with a skinny black Sharpie, you are going to use your cutting tool and a number 1 blade for your tool to just simply cut out the contour lines, okay? Just those main outside lines. Don't worry about any of the texture, shadows, hatching, highlights, whatever else you have going on. A number 1 is really thin, so we can decide whether we're going to be cutting out the positive space or the negative space afterward. Please make sure you're always cutting away from you. Sometimes I do find it easier to actually turn the linoleum block versus actually turning your cutting tool. It is small, so it is a little bit easier to turn while you're cutting so that you are consistently cutting away from you. It may be easier for you to stand. Just try out a few different things and see what works best for you. Again, this is also my first linoleum block project, so we will be learning together. So why is this pink, you ask? Well, you'll see here that I'm coloring over this whole thing with a black permanent marker. I had a much larger dark purple Sharpie that I thought would work well, and it did not. It ended up being magenta. So I'm trying to color back over it with black ink, which the purpose of this is that those lines, those contour lines that you cut out with that number 1 blade, those areas are easier to see. Plus, everything that's black is what will be inked. And so it's easier to see what still needs to be cut away, is the principle behind this. So now that it is all colored over with black, hopefully yours will look better than mine because you will not have started with that purple Sharpie that turned out to be magenta. But anyway, now you're going to start cutting out those other details. This is where you want to cut out those textures, any hatching, cross-hatching, and depending on if you will be printing on black paper or white paper is going to determine kind of which areas you cut away. Coloring it in black almost kind of insinuates that you're going to be printing on white. Therefore, everything you cut away is a lot easier to see what's going to be light and dark. I have made this complicated for myself because I would like to actually print on black paper. So everything I will be cutting away that you can see in white will actually be in black. So you really want to try and think about which color you're going to want to be printing on, and that will kind of determine what you're cutting away, whether you're cutting away the highlights or you're cutting away the shadows. All right, so I believe this is my finished linoleum block. I am planning on printing on black paper, so technically this is in reverse. Everything that is cut away will be black. Everything that is not will be in color. I definitely think it was nice to have this colored in black first because it was really easy to see the little parts that I was cutting away as far as texture goes. It really depends on if you're printing on white or black, what this is going to look like in the end, okay? Make sure if you're cutting away total voids or like background areas, you get a larger blade. These are the 2-size blades that I use for pretty much the whole thing. So I guess we'll see what it looks like when we print it.